The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh, got my hustle on, no imitation of bad. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heartthrob in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too evil and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty.
Podcast coming to you January 23rd, 2023. It is officially Hulkamania Day, which I'll get to later on the podcast. But I don't know how, and I decided to sign up for this.
Welcome back to the Earnestly Speaking podcast. I am your man, the Duke, host of Dukeless Wrestling Podcast, and I have just kicked EJ out because we have Roberto, a.k.a. Rob the Genius here, and quite frankly, I am going to give him the thrashing of a lifetime. Okay? Que hora es, Senor Roberto Garcia y Vega.
I don't know what happened here.
I am going to smoke him like a cigar. Oh, EJ, you managed to force your way back. I thought I kicked you out so I can straighten Rob out. What's going on here?
I don't know what the hell happened there.
Yeah? Well, listen, you're my long-lost twin.
I got knocked out.
Long-lost twin, and I was trying to take over.
I think it's your damn fault. That's your damn fault. That's your damn fault.
And I got muted, so
that's right.
Well, I muted the both of you guys to do the intro, and then I was trying to unmute Duke, and as I'm unmuting Duke, I got knocked out.
It was the NSA because Rob was talking crazy earlier, so they stepped in.
Again, so as I was saying on the intro,
that's right.
I don't know how the hell I signed up for this shit, but it is what it is. You two are back after what? Well, last time we did the podcast, September?
Yeah, about that.
We're back. Duke Bennett, host of the Duke Loves Wrestling podcast, host of Tell Us the Truth podcast.
That's right.
Robert Bonnette, also obviously Freaking Fridays podcast, host of Rob the Genius podcast, Wrestling podcast as well. Let's do it. Fellas, what's up?
What's going on, man?
I can't call it.
Same soup, just reheated.
We got a lot to talk about today, a lot, mainly circling the world of wrestling, of course, but also circling around the politics. We are officially knee deep into election 2024. I don't know what the hell we want to start first. What do you want to start first with the election, first off, because you two got into some big ass banter on text like 3 days ago, which led into this podcast, and you guys are doing a pre-show as well too. I mean, we can go a lot of places. We can go. Ron DeSantis is officially out of the race. See, Nikki Haley wasn't lying. It was a two-person race. She wasn't lying.
Well, Nimrata doesn't have a chance, but let's get to the main event here. Look, first of all, you can't trust anybody who doesn't go by their real name. Your mama named you Nimrata, and you over here trying to call yourself Nikki. That's embarrassing. So we're not even going to play that game. She's a phony. She's a fake. She'd never get my vote. But let's talk about the real issue here. We have two old bigots, okay? We got Trump, who is a treasonous, no good child of God. And then we have Joe, the breakdancer Biden, legitimately a man who supports and funds genocide. Okay, these are our options in 2024 in America. It's embarrassing. And Rob the Genius, he wants to be the popcorn. He wants to be the bad dude for Joe Biden in 2024. And for that reason, he is literally willing to flex on people to get votes for Joe Biden. It's embarrassing. Edward Snowden, I need you to leak the Rob the Genius documents. We're going to straighten this out once and for all. That's right.
Rob, go ahead. That's right. You wanted 2 minutes for this one, so go ahead.
First of all, okay, let me be clear. Okay, all right. I do not condone the administration's decision making when it comes to all this stuff going on in Israel. Okay, I do not.
What stuff, Rob? All what stuff?
What the Israeli
say their name, Rob.
What the Israeli military?
Say their name. What? Palestine. Say their name, Rob. Come on. Say their name.
Destiny Child. Say my name. Say my name.
Come on. No one's around you.
Yes, in Israel and Palestine. Okay, because I do not agree with their decision making here. I do not condone it, and this will be a bigger stain on his presidency as Vietnam was on Lyndon Johnson.
We discussed this actually, Rob, on the podcast. When you
it will be. This will be a bad for.
But what you said though on that podcast though, Rob, is that this issue can go away by November, and voters won't necessarily have it in front of money anymore. And I don't think that's gonna be. And I told you, I'm not sure about that. Mind you, we record this in November, December. We're now in January. It's still front of mind. I don't see this going away, Rob.
Well, I think it will. It depends on it.
It's genocide. What are you talking about?
Excuse me. Are you going to cut me off? You can keep cutting me off. You're going to let me finish.
Go ahead, Rob.
Okay. It all depends on if the fighting's still going on. If the Israeli military is still doing all these attacks, if that's still going on in August and September, then yes, it's not going away, obviously. If it ends in March, then come November, people will be focused on the Biden versus Trump. And by the way, and then look, in the Biden administration, on this particular issue, they deserve every bit of dragging and criticism and whatever that they get. Okay, I am not defending them on this at all. Okay, but if you think for 1 minute that a Trump administration would not be 100 times worse,
which I agree for the record.
Okay, then
worse in what way? And I'm not defending Trump. Trump's not going to get my vote. But worse in what way?
The issue.
Because we've seen Trump in office and he wasn't worse on this issue. We've seen Trump in office. And
I don't think any president. I think the country as a whole, Democrat, Republican. This is not necessarily a wedge issue to Republican Democrats, because the establishments of both sides support Israel. Period.
Yes,
it's a lose of Biden at this point.
That is a bipartisan failure. Okay, of policy. Okay, is that no matter what party controls the White House, what party controls Congress, they unequivocally have supported the Israeli government, and to the point where they don't hold them, they barely, or if at all, hold them accountable for anything that they do. Okay, that is a bipartisan failure. Okay, you are not going to get me defending any administration when it comes to that. And they don't do it, and they do not do it out of any regard for either the Israeli or Palestinian people. Okay, they don't, and it's pretty clear. And so you're not going to get me to defend him on that. And I know, just like I said, this will be in the history this will be his Vietnam. All right, and okay, this will be a stain on his legacy as a president, just like Vietnam was on Lyndon Johnson.
I'm glad you said that, because if this would be Biden's Vietnam, and we are to take a history lesson, of course. So in '68, and there is possible precedent in the months to come, Lyndon Johnson decided not to run for re-election in '68 on March 21st, 6 months prior to the election.
And there's zero chance that happening.
There's still speculation that could potentially happen down the road. I don't think it will happen. But there's always the talk of
zero chance. You're smoking rocks if you believe in that.
I have a conspiracy I'm going to share with you guys that I think what the Democrats are at with this. I think the way they see this is this: if Biden loses, cool. You know why? 2028, the GOP ticket will be soiled anyway, like it was in 08 for Obama to come in there when McCain ran against him, because the idea is that Trump will be so bad in these next 4 years that everybody's going to flock to Democrats 2028. A clean house, and they'll have a new candidate at that point too. Also, because it won't be Biden.
That's a fool's errand. That's a fool's errand to follow.
Of course, right. But if Trump loses, of course, you still have Biden all 4 years. So to the way to look, I think the way to look at it is like, you know what? Who gives a shit? Let's run Biden 1 more year, one more time, and if it works, cool. We'll have it 28. If he wins, awesome. We have power for another 4 years.
Well, the problem with that is, okay, if Trump does win, then Thomas and Alito will probably retire so that he can appoint 2 more Supreme Court justices.
Right.
And then you have an 8 with 6'3" right now. It'll still be 6'3".
Yeah.
So if you are a believer in things like women's right to choose, if you're a believer in any type of environmental regulation, any type of regulation on businesses, if you're a believer in any of those things, the last thing you want is for Donald Trump to be able to appoint 2 50-year-old Supreme Court justices to replace Thomas and Alito. Okay.
You're saying they'll pack the court anymore?
Well, no, just those 2 will retire.
So replace them. Right.
And you replace them, and then that way, instead of, because Thomas and Alito are in their 70s, I believe, and then John Roberts is up there also.
And I feel like that's that issue. While we talk about because that's the one wedge issue that Democrats still have in their back pocket, which has worked to their favor in certain elections the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like that Supreme Court issue, which you think they learned a lesson from the first 4 years of Trump, should be front and center now as it pertains to campaigning on this now going forward. And maybe they will in months to come. But
they're already running ads, making.
I know Kamala's doing a little tour also. So Kamala's like a little
they're
tour
running
also.
ads, and they're running ads already saying that this is Shelley. She had to escape from Texas to go get an abortion. Blah blah blah. They're already doing that.
Yeah.
And they're because they did that they did that in some of these special elections last year, and plus remember it's still January. Okay, like you want this stuff to, from a political strategy standpoint, you want this stuff to hit close enough. Like doing it now,
yeah, of course,
people will forget about it in October. Okay, so you want to do it when there's still time for it to be fresh in people's mind when they go to vote.
And I'm with you. The problem is that Biden's numbers continue to fall as we go further and further and further and further in this.
We've talked about just the folly of this polling.
I'm talking about approval numbers. I'm talking about polling. I'm talking about approval numbers, actually, actual approval numbers, which I've always bared out to the results of a re-election.
Do they?
Look at Jimmy Carter. That's all you need to know. Biden is not very popular whatsoever across the board, even with his own party.
I don't think that's correct.
Well, establishment, not including establishment Democrats, of course. You know, I don't know. Duke, what do you want to add to this?
Folks, what you just witnessed there was an abomination.
Oh, here we go.
You have folks who are making up their own facts, Dave Meltzer style, in order to support their agenda. And the agenda is very clear: to get Joe Biden not only reelected, but to establish him as the absolute power and supreme ruler of the United States of America.
What?
And I believe that those listening are smarter than that. And you understand that we cannot have this kind of nonsense going on. Now, I want to be clear on something. Donald Trump will not be the next president of the United States. So let's just be clear on that.
Oh, you think
neither will Nimrata. She can't even go by her real name, so we don't even want to address her at all.
Right.
But we need to hold these folks accountable. Mm-hmm. And the problem is, you let Joe Biden do the soul brother handshake and bop around and touch people's wives who don't want to be touched, and you let him get away with this kind of nonsense. He cusses black folk out.
What?
And then you just let him do it. And that's why he can be Genocide Joe, because there's no checks and balances with this guy.
Genocide
It is imperative that we do not pull a Rob the Genius, and instead you find your inner strength, folks, and don't go for the okie doke, and instead you hold your elected officials accountable, including Joe the breakdancer Biden. Okay, you let this man know.
Where'd that come from, breakdancer?
You work for us. You're going to do what we tell you to do. You're not going to go around acting like you're too old to listen to somebody. It's as simple as that. And as for Kamala, the vice president, not Kamala, that's a former pro wrestler, but Kamala, I think we need to put the pressure on her too, because she knows better. She knows better than this. You can't be supporting genocide. These Democrats are out of their mind. That's why we shouldn't even give them power in the first place. We should kick all these party folk out. I don't do Bloods and Crips. We need to find an alternative that makes sense. I don't know who that is, but we need to find them. In the meantime, can you imagine if we held Joe Biden accountable? Can you imagine what would happen? Let's say states stop giving the government tax revenue. What happens then? You're going to invade states? I mean, seriously, if we march on Washington, we let Joe Biden know you're going to do what the people have mandated you do instead of doing what's in your personal special interest, you bigoted, no good son of God. Okay? He's a racist. He's a jerk. Throughout his history, he has been an enemy of the people. But because he drinks whiskey and he chases women and he's friends with Popcorn, who's a bad dude, y'all forget about who this man really is. He has always been a racist, which is why he's Genocide Joe. He don't give a damn about bombing our Palestinian brothers and sisters. He's a racist. He doesn't care. They're brown. Obama was the same way. So it's time for us to stand up and hold these folks accountable, especially these damn Democrats, because they think that they have a rubber stamp.
What?
And that's why we're in the position that we're in.
Dire
Dire straits.
I was just bothers you, Rob. You disagree with me?
It doesn't bother me. This is hilarious. I'm just laughable. It's not even.
Listen, I'm the only political scientist up here, folks, and I'm willing to tell the truth. That's the issue, right? I'm not tied to any special interest.
And for the record,
I don't have to be ruled by the master. I'll just tell it the way it is.
Us three,
the mathematician.
And for the listeners too here, also for the record, I think us three are either center or center left. Like I'm probably more conservative of the three guys, but Rob is definitely a Democrat, full and wool Democrat.
I'm an ultra liberal, man.
You claim to be a ultra MAGA, not MAGA. Was it ultra MAGA, ultra liberal? I guess, right? Yeah.
I'm an ultra liberal.
I'm an ultra liberal.
You're left. Comrade
Duke over there.
You know the thing about being liberal means? That means that you will sit down and you'll have conversation with everybody. You don't just sit there and canoodle with your own group and your own gang because you think you're a blood or a Crip. You talk to everybody. You consider everybody's perspective, and then when it doesn't make sense, and when somebody's trying to be a ruler in a nation that's supposed to be a nation that stands for freedom, that's when you stand up and you let these damn dictators know it ain't gonna work here.
So you're not a leftist, you're a liberal.
That's right.
I like that.
That's right.
So
no gangs.
The
Just
issue,
say no to gangs.
Because I can't call you. I won't call you Comrade Duke anymore. Then
the reason why this is important, though, the issue of Gaza is, and I brought it up on the last episode we did, Rob, you and Jim, is that Michigan's a swing state. Joe Biden won that state by 10,000 votes. There are over 20,000 Arab Americans in that state who have now, most of them, I say all of them have said they're not going to vote for Joe Biden. Doesn't mean they're going to vote for Donald Trump.
They're not going to vote.
But they're not going to vote, but still hurts Joe Biden, of course. That's a big state now for Biden. That's 20 electoral votes right there.
Well, it doesn't. See, here's the thing, right? You told us it doesn't hurt Biden. If Biden loses, he'll go back to Delaware. It hurts the people like that Trump will make victims.
No, I'm saying in terms of the election. I mean, obviously the future is the future. We all know what's, in our opinion, what is the better situation of the two. But at the same time, we're talking about based on the electoral process, this is going to hurt.
We won't know until election day. I mean, but trust me, all of this polling and all of this anecdotal, this guy says this guy says that, we won't know until election day.
And you're correct about that. But
that's always been my full take has always been
right.
We will not know until election day. But right now, it is not worth drawing any conclusions from this stuff, okay? Because this type of stuff always exists. There are always
hold on. And we let Rob talk for about a half hour now.
And
I think it's something for you to get a word.
So gone 20 minutes. Yeah, what are you talking about?
You went on like a 10-minute rant.
Let me get a word in here. I just want to.
You're cutting me off because you don't want me to finish. Because
you're talking nonsense here. But I'm going to do what educators call an equity pause. All right, we're going to have an equity pause here, and I just want to say this.
Now you're cutting me off.
I'm just going to make this statement, and then I'll lean back for a second.
Here we go. Can I finish? I lost my train of thought. I can't even finish.
Let Rob finish with it.
Well, I can't finish now because he interrupted me and I lost my train of thought.
Oh shit, dude!
Yeah, see that? He's getting old. That's what happens. Listen, no, I just find it interesting that you'll sit there and listen. I'm no fan of Trump. I've always been very clear. I'm against Trump, but I find it interesting that you turn him into the boogeyman yet you ignore the horrific things that Joe the Breakdancer Biden is doing. And I think that there's something wrong with not
did I not
saying,
just say that did I not just say that his administration's legacy will be tarnished by this?
But Rob, what's missing in your statement is that there is no commitment to holding Joe Biden accountable. You're not even starting now to hold him accountable. You didn't hold him accountable for the past how many years now? You didn't hold him accountable 8 years before when he was in the White House, but you want to sit here and give him absolute power, absolute support, and you want to vilify other candidates when you're not even serious about holding Joe Biden accountable. That is un-American. That is against what we need in this country. And is that type of old thinking is the reason why we're in the position that we're in today in the world where we're losing our hold over the globe. Because this type of nonsense going on where you want to ignore the atrocities of the guy that you support, but you want to point the finger at the other guy. How about they're both wrong? How about they both need to be held accountable? How about they both need to be brought to the table and let them know what it will take to get our votes instead of just blindly saying we're going to support them because you're afraid of the Supreme Court? We're already in hell, buddy. We're already in hell. When do we start to dig out? That's all I'm saying.
Go ahead, Rob.
Well, first, well, you see, we wouldn't be where we are today if Gore had won the election in 2000. We wouldn't be where we are today. We'd be in a much better place on a lot of different issues. If Gore had won the election in 2000,
Gore did win the election. You don't even know your history. Gore did win the election.
Okay, you know.
So here we go. If Gore did win the election,
okay. See now, okay. So if you're gonna cut me off, then we can't do this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna have to let me finish my thoughts. Okay.
Right. Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Dad.
Okay, because because you're Okay, comrade. I'm gonna go back, or should I call you Chairman Duke? Okay,
just tell the truth, Rob. That's all I'm asking. Just tell the truth.
Rob. It all applies.
Just tell the truth.
Go ahead, Rob.
Just tell the truth. That's all I'm asking. Just tell the truth.
Okay, so
Gore won the election. Tell the truth.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. I will change my wording. If Gore had become president,
right?
Okay, we would be in a lot better place in a lot of things. But people like you wanted to go vote for Ralph Nader.
Did you vote for Ralph Nader?
You wanted to send the message.
Is this true, Duke?
This is not true. Absolutely not.
Okay, no. Ralph Nader took enough votes away from Gore in New Hampshire to cost him New Hampshire. If Gore had won New Hampshire, Florida wouldn't have mattered because he would have gotten the Electoral College through New Hampshire.
Correct.
But there were enough people in New Hampshire who voted for Ralph Nader because they wanted to send a message. Okay.
Imagine that. They voted for who they wanted as opposed to who you wanted them to.
Well, they're a bunch of fucking idiots. That's what they were, okay?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, Rob, I see what you're saying, though. When you look
no. It's you got two choices. You got two choices. If these third-party people, if they were at all serious, which they are not, they're never serious because they show up in the presidential election year and they say, well, don't vote for those two guys, vote for me instead. They don't do anything between election cycles to build any infrastructure. They don't do anything at the state level or the local level. They do none of those things.
Not with you standing against them. Not with you standing against them.
Look,
certainly not.
Excuse me. So now here we go again. Now you cut me off again. You cut me off again. You cutting me off again. Yeah. You cutting me off again. You gonna keep cutting me off?
Rob, he done lifted his hand now. He about to slap me through the computer. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Be careful now. Okay.
He's much bigger than you are, dude. Forget that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all right. Okay.
Real glass.
That's right. Hey, that's right. About the main event WrestleMania now too. How's your boy doing?
Uh-oh.
But anyway. Okay, these third parties. If the Green Party wanted to run somebody for school board, I would love that. If they wanted to run somebody for city council or county executive or state delegate or state senator, if they wanted to run people for those positions and start to build an actual party at the state and local level, I would welcome that. That's what they need to be doing, but they don't ever do that. They don't do it here. Maybe they do it up there. Maybe they do it in Massachusetts. They don't do it here.
That's not true.
Mm-hmm. They don't do it here. Trust me, I've been voting every election since 1992. I haven't seen the Green Party name on a ballot for school board or any of these other things.
It's not true.
All right. So they don't do any building. They show up every 4 years. and say, well, don't vote for the Democrat or Republican. You need to vote for me instead. Okay. And I'm sorry, if they were serious, okay, 2000 was 24 years ago. If they were serious,
shit.
Okay, they could have by now. They could have built enough infrastructure and enough to at least hold a few congressional seats. Okay, they could have done that in 24 years, but they don't. They show up every 4 years in a presidential election, and they say, "Well, don't vote for them and don't vote for the other guy. Vote for me instead." And they don't do anything in between time. You don't see Green Party or Libertarian Party or any of these other people. You don't see them doing any activism, any work around here in the 4 years in between presidential election cycles. Okay. And then they do nothing to build any type of infrastructure. It takes time and effort and energy to build a nationally competitive political party. They don't do any of that work. And then they have no shot at, they have no campaign apparatus. And then they come around every 4 years. And because we have a media that's starved for content, they give these people a microphone and they give them some TV time, even though they have no infrastructure. They have no way of even going and getting out to vote if they had people to vote for them. But don't blame me. And then, I mean, Jill Stein was collecting money to quote unquote, fund a recount in 2016. Okay. And people gave Jill Stein money, and Jill Stein where's the recount, Jill? Right. I mean, please. Okay. No. Okay. If they wanted to get serious, because the Republican Party started out as a third party. Okay. You had the Democrats, you had the Whigs. Okay.
Right.
And so, yes. And ultimately, no, I mean, because of the structure of the country and the distance and the size and all that stuff, having 3 nationally viable political parties is not a thing that can go on for very long. One of the two, the third party will eventually overtake one of the 2 existing ones. But yet these folks, they do, they show up every 4 years and they tell you, and they tell you, well, vote for me instead. And why should I vote for you instead? Why? What are you going to do? Okay. I mean, and when you even ask people what they would want out of a hypothetical third party, what it usually is? They want the good stuff from the party they agree with more without any of the bad stuff. Okay, that's mainly what the people want. All right, they want the party that they more align with. They want that they want all of the things from that party that they like, but then none of the bad things. Okay, and I'm sorry, because I mean, with Robert Kennedy, RFK Jr. is an anti-vaxxer. Okay, and
is he though? Is he though?
Yeah, he.
I mean, he took the vaccine though. He took the vaccine.
Well, he's a fraud. He's a fraud.
How long are we going to let this man ramble about Robert F. Kennedy? And he went all over the place.
Okay,
right. Okay. What state does Rob live in again?
I live in Maryland, sir.
Oh, okay. Anthony Williamson, Broadway Homes representative, Baltimore City, Resident Advisory Board since 2019. That's an elected official you could have voted for. Annie Chambers,
I don't live in
Douglas
Baltimore.
Homes representative, Baltimore City, Resident Advisory Board 2017 to the present. Shane Robinson, former member of the Maryland House of Delegates. You could have voted for Shane Robinson. Michael Cornell, Board of Directors Chairman, Village River Hill, Howard County. Columbia Association Board Member representing the District of River Hill. Gary Hull, Christine Nagel, Dan Robinson, James Wilkinson. When you sit there and you tell the people that the Green Party is not out there running for these smaller offices, when you say that they're not doing this and that they're not building an apparatus, in your state, I just named off people that at least 3 of those candidates you could have voted for. You went to the ballot. Did you take the time to figure out who those folks are? Because you're claiming that they didn't exist, Rob, which lets me know that no, you did not even take the time to understand who they were, what their platform is, and if they're a viable candidate worth your vote. Stop it. This is what the Democrats do. They want to continue to hold on to power by scaring you into believing that there's no other options. I'm not saying don't vote for Joe Biden. What I'm saying is hold everyone accountable. And we can't do that when Rob the Genius is out here telling people things that are just frankly not true.
Telling people.
Just frankly not true.
Telling people.
Okay?
Telling people, Duke, really?
Popcorn. That's who he is. He's a bad dude. Popcorn. That's who he is. I had to do it. I had to fact check because you ain't going to do it, EJ. I'm starting to wonder here. You're canoodling with the Democrats. I'm starting to wonder.
I'm not Democrat. I'm not Democrat.
Canoodling.
I'm a canoodler. I'm a canoodler.
You're a canoodler.
You're wearing a Cowboys hat right now, so I know you. So
that's right.
All right, I want to move to another topic in politics. Ron DeSantis.
Yeah, you better move on because Rob got that heat now that I named all those elected officials, by the way, who actually won races, by the way. And Green Party, by the way.
Real quick. Last thing, Rob, before I get to the next topic. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to actually tip my hat to you, okay?
To me?
For bringing it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So Ron DeSantis left the campaign, officially suspended his campaign on Sunday. Here's a clip of his speech after.
Now, following our second place finish in Iowa, we've prayed and deliberated on the way forward. If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources if we don't have a clear path to victory. Accordingly, I am today suspending my campaign.
All right, so that was fun.
Yeah, and you know what the best thing about suspending the campaign is?
What's that?
He can still collect money.
Yep.
That's why they suspend the campaign and they don't end their campaign.
You know, that thing ended as fast as it started. Remember back in 2022 and by the way, I'm in Florida, so I can say this. Polish off. Oh, this is the next guy. He can, if we're gonna pick up Trump, this is the guy. He gets in the race and they see who he really is nationally. He's like, no. I guess my first question is, should he even have ran in the first place?
Yes, everyone who wants to run for president should run. Why not?
But given the Republican Party where it's at in terms of, I mean, you've seen it. Like Trump is in 4 indictments, 91 charges, still leading the field and lapping every candidate. Still.
Yeah. You know why?
Why?
Because unlike somebody like Ron DeSantis, you have a guy like Trump who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So because he doesn't know what he's doing, he's making it up as he goes along. And he's doing what's in his special interest. And he's pretty much, flaunting it in everyone's face. And people like that because at least it's real. At least that's something that I can relate to. I would probably do the same thing. That's what these voters who are voting for him think. You got a guy like DeSantis, who's former intelligence, Gitmo DeSantis. Here's a guy who legitimately is Dr. Evil. Unlike Trump, unlike Bush too, DeSantis knows what he's doing. If he would have had his finger on the button, we'd be at war with everybody. Okay? He would usher in the most racist regime that we have ever seen in our lifetime if DeSantis was able to rise enough through the ranks to become president. So even those crazy Republicans know enough not to vote for a guy like that. That's my honest belief. All right? Now, they love the regular, pretending to be a regular guy, Trump. Okay? Because he pisses everybody off. That's just the truth of it.
That's the appeal. I've always said that for a long time. Like, whether you love or hate Trump, people say, how can you vote for that guy? You don't understand. The appeal is easy because people in general, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, are sick and tired of suit and tie, snobby, unauthentic politician. And here's Donald Trump with his
buddies. Yeah, Rob's buddies.
And here's Trump coming in with the big red tie. I mean, look, he's rich. He's an elite for the record. Rich, fat guy, says what he wants to say, cusses, this and that. People can relate to that. And if you can't understand it, then you're part of the problem, in my opinion. Go ahead, Rob. What's your thoughts on DeSantis ending his campaign?
Well, look, anybody can run who wants to run. Yes. Now it's up to the voters to discern why some of these people are running. Like some of these people are running because they are serious candidates and they actually want to win the election and do the job. Some people are running because it's a money-making endeavor. Some people run for office some people are delusional, right? They think they can win and they really have no chance, right? And it really just, and in DeSantis, I think DeSantis falls under the delusional category, because look, he got good press during the pandemic, and he thought he had a shot, and that was what 2022 was it? I mean, when he
2022, he won the election here.
Yeah, and so
by 20 points on the record.
He got reelected. He thought, and then also I think another thing that happened here. There are people who thought that Trump would just go away. And Trump is a political anomaly because in the past, defeated candidates, he's the first defeated, and since I think was it Cleveland that ran again after he lost?
Yeah.
Okay. And he became president.
And won.
Yeah. So since then, people, when people lose, they go home. Right. And I think there were people who legit thought that he would just go home. But that has never been his style. That has never been his MO. He does not go home. Okay.
It's almost appreciated. It's almost admired in some ways.
And I don't, because I don't.
Why is that?
Because
never give up.
He's not allowed to. Come on, you know that. There's no objective conversation when it comes to somebody who's against the Democrats. You're not being objective, Rob. You can't find the quality in why his voters support him.
If Mitt Romney wanted to run again in 2016, no problem. Okay?
No, I'm not saying about preference. It's about just him wanting to run and still try again.
Oh well, I mean, you're entitled to, but I mean, he's the first one since Grover Cleveland, who lost and who people didn't just say, "Well, have gone and get out of here." But it also, I think, it also helps that the rest of the field were all a bunch of busters. Okay. I mean, all a bunch of basically uninspiring, just not charismatic.
I'm glad you said that, because this is the first time, really, honestly, there's a Republican field where there was nobody I would consider voting for. Like, even in 2016, I like John Kasich. I would have considered voting John Kasich in 2016. You know what I'm saying? There's always been someone on the field I say, Mitt Romney in 2012. I would have voted for him in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? McCain in 2008 was definitely a consideration at one point. There's always been someone on the Republican side, even if I disagree with the politics, let's much of the politics, someone like, I like that guy. He's pretty good. He's a pretty common sense guy. 2024? Nope.
But these people, they're spineless. They're weird. Like, no, DeSantis is weird, and not in an endearing.
He's awkward. He's just awkward.
He's weird in a, man, what is it with this guy kind of way, and that doesn't help. And so, like, none of these folks have any endearing qualities. We talked about Nimrata, changing her name and all of that, and we saw Tim Scott, out there.
Oh, who endorsed Trump on Saturday as well.
Look, Tim Scott got on stage and he went full "we sick boss."
Oh, yeah.
I mean, okay.
Although I'll be honest, like, I don't like this rhetoric from our people too, because Tim Scott is endorsing Trump and this and that. They're all saying he's Uncle Tom, this and that. Like, stop that shit. You people are allowed to have their fucking feelings and who they want to support. Okay, I mean, I like it, but cut with the fucking Uncle Tom bullshit. Seriously.
Okay.
Not you, but saying in general.
Colin Powell was not Uncle Tom.
Exactly.
Condoleezza Rice. Well, I don't know whatever the female term for Uncle Tom would be. But I wouldn't call her that. Okay. Clarence Thomas is a fucking Uncle Tom. All right.
Clarence Thomas is a troubled human being. I will say that.
And he channels his troubled human beingness into being a fucking Uncle Tom. Okay.
Colin Powell pushed WMD when he knew that it wasn't true. And you're saying not only is he an Uncle
it doesn't make him Uncle Tom.
He's an enemy of the state.
Well, I don't know about Uncle
Tom.
He
lied to the American people.
That could be true, but I don't think Uncle Tom, though.
Forward with the domestic spying and all the things that were inflicted on this nation, and that was he participated in willingly. Kept all that thing going.
You could be right about that, dude. I'm saying that
he's definitely an Uncle Tom.
I won't go that far. I think it's the insult. I think
Colin Powell's a scumbag.
Calling people fine, which is fine. But calling people those kind of names because they don't fall in line with things that we want.
We want. We're talking about our nation. Protect the nation. You took an oath. Beyond just being where he was Secretary of State, you took an oath.
Right, fair point, dude. But it's not making him Uncle Tom.
Of course he was an Uncle Tom. He was taken up for them damn crazy Republicans who couldn't give a damn about him anyway.
I think
that's why they put him out there to dry. And that's why you never heard from him afterwards. You notice how you never heard from him again afterwards. He stayed out of the limelight. You don't want to talk about that stuff no more. I wonder why. That's guilt. That's guilt.
That's a little extreme, because we're not a monolith. We all have different ideas.
Yeah, but that wasn't his idea. That wasn't his idea. He took the hit for them, not for a nation. He took it for them. It was against the nation. It was against the people that he swore to protect. He took it for them.
I'm not serious.
Uncle Tom.
Right. Well, I mean, in retrospect, I'm not here defending Tim Scott. What I'm defending is the fact that he's allowed to his opinion. He's allowed to his own direction what's going, and it's fine.
Yeah, but don't do the fake Martin Luther King voice though. I never heard Tim Scott do that before. Now he's doing his little preacher voice and bopping around to Trump. I don't know what you call that. That's Django.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up because
Django. What was that?
That being said, though, because Trump hasn't had a clue yet, but apparently there's rumors that he may already has his VP running mate in place. I think personally it's going to be a female or a black person. So I think Tim Scott's on the board. Tim Scott's on the board. I think Ben Carson's still on the board if he wants to take it. I think obviously a female. You look at Carrie Lake. You look at that different. I don't think it's going to go the same old. People say, well, he needs the evangelical vote. No, he does not need the evangelical vote anymore. He has it already. In 2016, he needed it because that's why he got Mike Pence. He has those. He's put himself to them at this point now to where he doesn't need a Mike Pence type anymore or evangelical. He needs a moderate, someone to appeal to the moderates and to blacks.
It's not going to be Ben Carson because Ben Carson left under pretty terrible circumstances.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
And blamed his wife when he was out there spending all that money remodeling his office there like a moron. Buying
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Furniture and all that.
Okay.
So it ain't going to be Ben Carson. Government waste. He's a poster child for that. Plus, he didn't know what the hell he was doing. So it ain't going to be him. Tim Scott got a better shot than that.
I think Tim Scott
then went out there and found himself a nice, pretty blonde-haired lady and pretending that he's getting engaged and all that
engaged,
stuff.
He's engaged, apparently.
He's pretending to be engaged.
Wait,
so,
Tim Scott
is
pretending.
doing what
You think he's just doing this to curry favor into the party?
He's wagging the dog. You know that. Come on. He's wagging the dog. He's pretending. That man, that ain't his woman. You could knock that woman from him, man. Come on. We know that. That is not his woman. Stop.
Wow.
Stop.
That being said, is Tim Scott the nominee?
That's not your chick. You share that girl. Come on. You know it.
That being said, is Tim Scott nominee, Duke? Is he going to be the nominee for Trump? Prediction?
It's either going to be him or Nimrata. Yeah, for sure.
You think Nikki Haley? Nikki Haley going to be the
Nimrata? Nimrata, our favorite Indian candidate. I think she will do what the party wants her to do in order to get into the seat. Because, Trump being put in jail is still not out of the question. So imagine if she was VP. Would she not be president if something happened to him and he got prosecuted? We say that that's not possible, but we live in a world where a lot of crazy things are happening. We're on the brink of being in war with Iran. Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Yeah. So who knows what's going to happen? So I think that, she'll take that risk in order to get closer to the big seat. Of course she will. She'd be a fool not to, because she has no business even making it this far. So, hey, why not? She already worked for the guy in that administration, so we've already seen that she has no morals, right? With her lying self, the nation has never been racist, and then the next breath she talks about racism that she experienced.
What a stupid statement.
She doesn't even go by her real name. What do you expect? No morals? Come on.
She's literally Hillary Clinton for that.
No.
Worse.
No.
Worse.
No, stop it. No.
Hillary Clinton at least went by her real name.
No.
See that?
No.
That's what Rob's queen now. Here we go. Queen Hillary.
Okay.
Rob, why am I wrong there on that?
They are not even remotely close to. Okay. No. Okay.
That's about policy. It's about just like on authentic.
Not even there. No.
Okay. All right.
Wait,
Lock her up. Lock her up. Lock her up.
No. Okay. I'm sorry. Y'all made up all this stuff about Hillary is some made up bullshit.
Stop it.
Okay.
Stop it, Rob.
Stop it.
You call now you're gonna cut me off again. Now you're gonna cut me off.
I'm talking, dude. I'm talking.
Okay, that woman, she testified for like 12 hours in front of the damn Republican committee. Okay, on was it Benghazi or whatever? Okay, you think Nikki Haley could do that? No. Okay. And by the way, she testified for 12 straight hours, and they didn't, and when they came out of it saying, we got nothing. Okay. The Republican-led Congress, by the way. It wasn't some soft-shoe Democrat-led committee. All right.
Because they were in on it. Because they would have to go down too.
Are you serious?
Group effort. It was a group effort.
It.
Are you kidding me? It was a group effort. They all were doing things they ain't got no business doing over there. We know that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna. Okay, okay. We're gonna. Okay, yeah, all right.
Hillary is a Republican in disguise. Don't even
that's
start.
Bullshit.
Man. We know her history.
Oh, that is. Oh yeah,
we know Bill's policy that she supported. She's a Republican in disguise, man. Come on.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. The woman who infiltrated segregated schools and exposed that shit. Okay, yeah, she's Republican in disguise. Okay, woman who was one of the lawyers that prosecuted Nixon at Watergate. Oh, Republican in disguise. Okay,
you better go read her book and figure out her humble beginnings. She was with the Republican Party.
Was a teenager?
That's on her books. That's on her books. It ain't on mine. You'll never see it on mine.
And the stuff I said was as an adult. The stuff I said as an adult. Okay.
Rob is having a difficult time today, folks. He thought he was going to show up with his facts and figures, and he's short of them. But don't worry, I'm long with him. I told him smoke him like a Garcia Vega. He's my Cuban cigar today. That's what he is.
Let me ask you guys a question. Who you, in your opinion, and I know obviously not, you guys are not Republicans, but you guys do follow politics as a whole, as a sport, like I do. Who do you think is the future of the GOP? Because obviously this Trump,
Charlie Baker,
the governor of Massachusetts.
Charlie Baker, former governor of Massachusetts, not the current governor of Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
He is no longer here, but Charlie Baker.
Is he? He's not MAGA. Is he MAGA?
No, hell no. He openly said he's against Trump.
But that's the thing, though. Do you think? But that's what I'm saying, though. He's not MAGA. You're saying that in 2028 that we'll be away. The Republicans will be done with MAGA by 2028.
Not only will they be done with MAGA because it's not working anymore, but Charlie Baker is the kind of Republican that can reach across the aisle and bring people closer to where he is. The dude had the highest approval rating in the nation when he was governor of Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
How do you explain that? Ultra super majority liberal Commonwealth, and we had a Republican governor who had a through the roof approval rating. That man, they already tried to get him to run for president. He's taken some time away from politics. That's where he got into the sports game. You know what he's doing now. But Charlie Baker, they're going to try to get him to run again. And they're going to try to get him to run on the big stage. You can mark my words on that.
The problem is that the GOP has had opportunities upon opportunities to pivot from Trump in the last couple of years and have not done so. What makes it different now in the next 4 years?
World War III?
I don't know. I have my doubts at this point now. Rob, what do you think? Future GOP?
I don't think there is anybody you can say is the future. It's just going to be people just, because I don't think they're going to be done with MAGA. All right. If Trump wins, they're not going to be done with MAGA in 2028. And if he loses, look, as long as he's not in jail, he'll keep running. He'll run again in 2028. He'll just say it was stolen from him again. And, and as long as he is around and he is not in jail and he is free to keep running for office, I don't think he's going to stop. And especially as long as if he can win, he can keep winning the nomination, he'll just keep running. And until
I doubt he runs again. Regardless, if he wins them one, he can run again. But if he loses this cycle, he'll be 83 at that point. I don't think he runs.
Cares? You think he cares about that?
I don't think Trump. I just don't think he'll do it.
He's gonna keep running as long as he can run. He will run. Okay.
Rob can't give a critical analysis that is anything outside of boogeyman.
Oh,
the man asked you for an alternative. The man asked you for somebody else in the party. You're so blinded by rage that you can't even answer that question honestly.
So Vivek, no, right? Vivek.
Well, he's a fraud. He got.
No. We agree with that. But you're also a Democrat. You're not part of the constituents that are going to vote for him to influence that situation.
Well, they didn't vote for him this time.
Well, because of the other guys in there.
Oh, they're not going to vote for a guy with a name like that. You know better than that. That's why Nimrata is not going by her name. They're not going to vote for somebody with an ethnic name.
And he even said himself he was shocked by the racism in the closing stretch,
which is so cute. Which is so cute, right?
He said that himself.
So cute, so adorable, right?
Hey, there's no racism in this nation. This nation has never been racist.
Wow, GOP's never been racist. Really? You don't say. Jesus. No, I mean, like, that's the thing too. Also, if you were to take like the people right now who are running, who influence the party right now, like Nikki Haley's and DeSantis. DeSantis is obviously Trump MAGA light, obviously. Vivek is MAGA, obviously. Nikki Haley is more establishment, but she'll fall in line if she needs to. I don't see. I mean, you said Charlie Baker, fine. How much influence does he have right now in the party that he can somehow wedge through that stuff? Here's the thing too, and we said it earlier in the podcast. No matter what happens, most likely, if Trump wins this election, I think it's safe to say the 2028 GOP ticket will be a very soiled, toxic ticket, like it wasn't a wait for John McCain. Who would want to run on that ticket at that point now?
But Trump's not winning anything. Let's not talk nonsense now. So the path for him to win requires enough people to elect him.
You don't think
if Trump is on the ticket and he is the candidate standing against anybody?
Joe Biden.
If he truly is
Biden.
It doesn't matter if it's Joe Biden. It could be Rob.
It will be Joe Biden.
The people are going to vote against Trump. They're not going to vote for Biden. They're going to vote against Trump. And Biden's going to get elected. That's what happened last time.
You think that rhetoric is still pretty strong out there? Because I have doubts on that. Does Biden win? It's very possible he still wins the election. But I feel like with a lot of independents, they're so frustrated with Biden with the economy and all that stuff. Whether that's his fault or not, it doesn't matter. He's the guy in charge, so he gets the blame. There's too much stuff. Too much.
But they don't dislike Biden so much that they like Trump. We're not there.
I mean, simple voters who don't follow politics like you and I will say, well, Trump was bad, but my 401k was great and the economy was good and I had money in my pocket.
But their 401k wasn't great. And the economy
they tried to overthrow the government, bro.
They're agreed. They're going to say, but Rob, you're right. But again, most voters don't follow the stuff like we do.
No, everybody knows about January 6th, bro. That's not something that we're confused about. Everybody knows about January 6th. And I don't think there's enough voters to get him back in office.
But if January 6th is still a thing, it's something to be run on, then why the fuck is Trump still winning a primary by the numbers he is?
Because that's the state of the Republican Party.
Because the rest of those people mean that
Trump can beat any Democrat. I don't think he could beat any Democrat. I know that sounds crazy, but I think people will literally vote against Trump, and I can sell that. That's easy to sell.
I mean, that's what I did in 2020. I didn't vote for Joe Biden. I voted against Donald Trump. Same 2016.
Rob is taking the easy way out all this entire hour-long conversation. He is selling Trump as the boogeyman. He can't sell Biden. You notice how he's not talking about the virtues of Joe Biden. He hadn't done it one time because he can't. Because you can't. You've spoken more than I have.
Would you like to?
You've spoken more than I have, Rob. You can't.
I haven't spoken more than you. What are you talking about? That's
all right, EJ, tell the truth. We've given Rob entire monologues during this entire run. We haven't even gotten to wrestling yet. It's not even. No, it's not even. We can run the tape, bro. It's not even. It's not even close. Come on now.
No, I mean, again, I think as it always does in these elections, it comes down to the moderate independent vote. Because these parties are so fractured at this point now and so divided that, it's a wash at best at this point now. These independents now, which is a growing number now, every single cycle, we get this growing number of independents.
Okay, there's a difference between people who identify as independent and people who actually have a voting patterns of being independent. That's the thing. Okay, most people who vote, who call themselves independent, vote the same way every cycle. Okay,
true.
It's just they don't like being affiliated with the party.
Case in point, me. I'm an MPA though, but I still kind of fall in line with that.
I'm non-declared. Yeah.
You don't. There are very few people who actually maybe facilitate between the two parties, from election to election, or who maybe vote. There are some people who maybe vote one way at the state level and then vote for a different person for president. What have you. I mean, but there are very few of those people. Most of the people who call themselves independent, they vote the same way every election. It's just because ultimately they agree with, particularly now. I mean, you can call yourself independent, but if you're for abortion rights, then which way you're voting, right? If you can call yourself independent, but if you're for if you think that there should be a bunch of discrimination against LGBT folks, but you can call yourself independent, but who are you voting for? You can call yourself independent, but if you believe in, super low tax rates for rich people, who are you voting for? right? I mean, so you can call yourself independent, but most people, the vast majority of voters, vote almost the same way from cycle to cycle.
And single issue too also swings it.
And like if you're a second, like things like Second Amendment, right? If you're a Second Amendment absolutist, then you think people should be able to buy, 300 caliber machine guns, right? Then which way are you voting? You can call yourself independent, but which way are you voting?
Right, Republican.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, there are people who call themselves independent, but I mean, because people like to call themselves, I'm a free thinker. People like to call themselves that because I mean, it sounds really nice, but free thinkers are those dudes at the barbershop telling you that that you drink berry juice and you don't need to get vaccinated.
But it's okay to be a free thinker also and still have your leanings and still be able to still have the conversation. That's to Duke's point though. Like you could be a liberal and still be able to have discussion with people you disagree with and at least gain some perspective. This isn't going to change your voting patterns and some of that, but it's perspective. I think my thing is I push back on silos. I hate having conversations with people in silos. That's what my problem is. I enjoy listening to a lot of political content across the board.
And look, even though my views have been largely misrepresented by my comrade Duke over here,
what
today, I do enjoy the conversation, but comrade Bennett, I'm sorry, comrade Bennett over here has misappropriated and misrepresented my political views here for the past hour.
You are who we thought you were, Rob. Don't even try that.
Oh,
you
no.
did it. You did it to yourself. You're Hillary.
All right, Dennis Green.
You're Hillary. You were so appalled when her name was brought up. That put
to
us
be fair,
over
you
the top.
did get a little triggered when Hillary.
You know why? Because
you did get a little triggered though.
You know why? No, because I'm going to explain why. Okay, if you would allow me to explain. Okay, because I got sick and tired of those damn Bernie Sanders supporters in 2016 who couldn't let go of the fact that their man ran a terrible fucking campaign and got the shit kicked out of him, and they kept going on about it was rigged.
What did she do to him? What did she do to Bernie?
She didn't do anything.
What did she do to Bernie? We know for a fact.
She beat him.
No, because there were lawsuits. Stop it. Maybe you need to do your research. What did she do to Bernie? What did she do to Bernie?
Didn't Don Brazil admit that they rigged that?
They had to admit it because he sued and won. So
What did he
look that up.
But let me ask this quick though. I'm so glad you brought Bernie Sanders, Rob, because Bernie Sanders is a populist.
He's not.
He was bringing up. He was doing Trump numbers at rallies all the time.
He's not.
But there's clearly a disconnect with Bernie Sanders and the black community.
Because he didn't.
What is it?
Because he sent Killer Mike to represent him in the black community. He sent Cornell.
What's wrong with Killer Mike?
The people who actually vote in Democratic primaries don't know who Killer Mike is. Okay?
And but isn't the Democratic coalition a more broader coalition anyway? Why does that matter?
Because the people who vote in primaries are not the people who vote in general elections, and you need to communicate with the people who vote in primaries. They tend to be older.
Because black Democrats like when you're warm and fuzzy and you pretend that you give a damn about them. And Bernie Sanders doesn't do that. Bernie Sanders gives it to you straight. He doesn't kiss your ass. He'll tell you when you're wrong. He'll tell you in mid-sentence what you're saying is not true. Joe Biden's not going to do that. Joe Biden, for the most part, is going to kiss your ass.
To your point, whether or not you, and I tell people this all the time across all political spectrums, whether you love or hate Bernie Sanders, he is by far, in my lifetime, the most authentic politician I've ever seen in my life.
That's a load of shit.
He believes he believes. No, what he says, he really believes it.
And he tells the truth.
Yeah.
No, that's horse shit.
Come on, guys. Listen,
we're not saying like his politics. We're saying what he says. He believes what he says.
No, this guy. He is first of all, he's in the pocket of the NRA. Okay, he has a very NRA friendly voting record. If you go look at it, okay. Number one,
Bernie Sanders has warned us against literally every issue that has ever happened in your lifetime. Bernie Sanders is out front saying, "Hey, we should watch out for that." Every time.
And then
every time,
except for when it's time to gun regulation, right? Go look at that. Go look that up. All right, and also by the way, by the way, he also the very crime bill that y'all like to tag Hillary with, he voted for it.
Did he really?
He and everybody else did. And black
no, it's him. Also, if everybody else is jumping off the bridge,
but hold on. And black folks supported it. So what's your point? And who introduced the crime bill? And who signed it into law?
And initially, I did too. Initially, as well.
Yes,
come on now.
As a conservative at the time.
But
don't half-ass it now. Tell the truth.
Okay,
Tell the full truth.
But he voted for it. But you and then also for all his talk about money and politics, he goes to all the Democrat fundraisers. He goes to the fundraisers. He takes the money.
Well, he has to, Rob. How is he going to be in office? Because people like you
mean,
make sure there's never a viable third party. You won't even look at them in your own state. You say they don't even exist. So what do you expect the man to do?
Well, hey, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault they had cocaine all over the table. I just had to take some because it was there.
Incredible.
Okay.
Listen, EJ, I want to point out the fact that we spent this entire time talking politics, which I did not want to do. And you completely whiffed on pro wrestling. No, because I knew Rob was going to play his Joe the breakdancer Biden game.
That's coming out. That's coming right now. I told you it's going to be a long, thorough conversation on politics and wrestling. It's coming. And I love it.
We would have finished the conversation if you hadn't been out there filibustering there, comrade.
I had to because this is a Joe Biden infomercial on your part. I mean, I don't even understand it. Listen, I've called everybody out. And you're sticking to your Democrat roots. It's clear. You're one of the Crips.
To be fair, though, Rob, he ain't wrong. You definitely are a full in the wool Democrat, though.
100%.
It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what it is.
Wear it with pride, bro. Don't try to pretend like you're not. Wear it with pride. That's right.
I do.
And you know what? We're going to do this again in the future, too, because we have a whole another 11 months ahead of us before the election. And this is my favorite time of year. I love election season. So you two will definitely be on the show a lot in the coming year to discuss this. So is there any predictions on right now? As you did say Trump's not winning.
No, Trump's not winning.
So Joe Biden will be reelected.
Unless there's a viable third party that pops up.
Is there a viable third party? That's not going to happen, dude.
Listen, I can't say that Joe Biden is going to be president in the next cycle. I will say Trump will not be president. I will say that our next president won't be a Republican. So how about that's my prediction. But I'm not going to say Joe Biden because that man, if you see him lately, he's not even moving right. I don't think he's healthy enough to even make it.
So this is gonna be a Duke question because I spoke with Rob about this back in the winter, or fall rather, about this actual topic, and I wanted to have your and we'll move on the rest after this. Do polls matter? The polling shows that Trump is starting to run away now with this.
That's not true.
And not just with the primary. What's on now? General election polls now. He's starting to edge outside the margin of the margin of error.
That's not true.
Not true, Duke. I mean, Rob, why is that true? Why?
There've been polls just in the last week that had Biden winning. Okay, that's the problem. That's the problem when you start talking about this poll and that poll. There's always a poll the next day that says
Rob hates polls. Rob hates polls.
Because
Rob loves ratings and hates polls.
Polls are because polling now is terrible.
To be fair, polling is different now because you're not polling the same group of people you used to back in years.
Polling now is terrible.
Polling is not terrible. Polling has everything to do with who you ask. It's as simple as that.
Polling is evolving,
but it has to do with who you ask.
Yes,
it has to do with who you ask.
So if the poll, now Rob is saying it's not so, but the polls I've seen anyway have shown most of the polls has Trump in the lead, edging out of the margin of error.
I bet I can.
Did they ask you, EJ?
I bet I can.
No, I don't. No, they haven't asked me yet.
I bet I can find.
But what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Do you know anyone who was asked personally? Do you know anyone who was asked?
No, I never. I haven't asked.
So what does that tell you?
To be I haven't asked though. To be fair, I haven't asked.
But no one has even told you either. What does that tell you? Don't you find that odd?
So
that you don't know anyone who gets polled on a regular basis?
So then you're actually making Rob's point. Then polls don't matter.
I believe they don't matter because it has to do with who you ask.
Okay.
So I'm actually a person that gets polled pretty often. But part of the reason why I get polled pretty often is because I put myself in a position to be polled.
Yeah.
Right? So
we got to hear what Duke got to say. That's why.
Well, that's it. Exactly. Right? I'm going to make sure I'm putting in. I'm going to make sure I'm putting in on that.
So, Duke.
But most people I know have no idea how to get into that group. And unless you're a government official, like a school teacher or a police officer or a firefighter, It's not like the parties are going to have your phone number and be able to look you up, or have your address be able to look you up, have your email address be able to look you up and put you in a position where they could pull you. So unless you look for it, or unless you're already in the government, you're not getting polled. So that's why you can't take any of those polls seriously. The reality of the situation is it comes down to something very simple. Who has the money? Who has the visibility? And quite frankly, who's outworking the others? It's as simple as that. You know, that's who wins more often than not. That's every race. If you got your door knockers, if you got your people who are in front of the grocery stores, if you have your people out there busting their ass more than the other guy, you're probably going to win. If you have more money and you're running more ads, you're probably going to win, because that's just visibility. They hear you more. They're more familiar with you. They're more likely to vote for you. Those polls don't tell that story.
Right.
And
Okay.
he's 100% right about that.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we can pivot off politics now. Let's get to a little bit of wrestling talk. And before we get to other things I wanted to add to that I already had set for this podcast, we got breaking news this morning. This morning we found out that the WWE and Netflix are officially in business together. From Reuters here, I should bring something quick. Netflix took a big step into live events on Tuesday with more than $5 billion rights deal to make it its exclusive home of Raw Wrestling Entertainment's Raw from January 2025. The 10-year partnership will put Raw on the streaming platform in the U.S., Canada, Britain, and Latin America, among other territories, the company said. Netflix will also exclusively telecast outside of the U.S. all WWE shows and specials, including SmackDown, as well as pay-per-views, live events such as Wrestlemania and Royal Rumble. All right, so this is the way I gather that whole thing is that basically Peacock outside of the U.S. is pretty much done, right? I'm assuming
they never existed.
Okay, that is true. WWE Network still exists outside the U.S.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I still miss, for the record.
I mean,
solely because of the layout of the chapters and the way they lay out the
functionality was much better.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm gonna say this one more time. I can't believe I live in a world in 2024, even post-COVID, where wrestling, moreover WWE, still finds ways to create new revenue. If you had told me back in 1988, 89, well, I was a little young at the time, but that wrestling will be such a viable thing where it's a necessity for entertainment for companies to have, I would have said, nah, no way. If you asked that in 1999, I would have said no at 19 years old. We're here. And this shit, again, they deal Peacock back in 2021. And, you know, that's $5 billion at the time. This one now, with Netflix, I mean, it is impressive that we are living in a world where wrestling and WWE still matters in a big way with these major companies. It's fascinating. And someone like myself who was away for 17 years between 2002 and 2019, and still seeing how viable it is to this day. It's truly impressive. Rob, any thoughts on the deal?
Yeah. So all right. So here's. I know some people I talked to were thinking it'd be Amazon Prime, and I never thought it was going to be that. Because the thing about going to streaming, okay, when you're on network, it's kind of like you'll get a bigger audience on network just because people are more habitually, even though people don't watch network TV like they used to, the people who do watch network TV will find you. Okay.
Right.
So going to streaming, you are more than likely going to take some type of audience hit numerically. I think Netflix, that hit would be smaller than going to Prime. And because with Prime, if you look at the NFL numbers on Prime, they get like around like 15 million. And that's after a couple of years of increases. Whereas you look at some of these, you put these same games on network TV and it's more. Okay. So now, and with WWE, we're talking about Raw right now on basic cable gets anywhere, depending on what part of the year it is, 1.5 to 1.9 million. If you shave something off of that going to streaming, then we're talking lower numbers, and that's fewer people that are seeing you, which means fewer customers for the future, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Now this really got in motion when Fox decided they didn't want to continue on. I think that's what really started setting this in motion, because Fox said they weren't getting ad revenue, even though SmackDown's highest rated. A lot of times SmackDown's highest rated show on Friday night, period. But they said they weren't getting ad revenue. They didn't want to continue. And then so SmackDown, they got SmackDown USA for 1.4 billion, which was not what they were hoping for. So they had to find to get the money you want, you got to start looking elsewhere. And at 5 billion over 10 years, that's $500 million a year. That's a better value for Netflix than to continue to keep trying to make these movies and original series. It's a better value for them. And
it's consistent too, because you're going to get that show every single week. We learned through COVID, that wrestling never ends.
Yes, it's year round. It's 52 weeks, and so you get better value per episode. You end up paying less money per episode when you stretch it across 52 weeks. It's a better value. So it's a better value for Netflix than to continue to pour money into these original series and movies that they've been making. It's obviously a better value for WWE because they doubled their money, which is what they were aiming to do the whole time. And so I think it's a win-win for everybody. And again, it's an excellent move. And it's just the question is just when the Peacock deal is up in the United States, will they migrate everything over to Netflix and in the US also? Because Netflix is going to house everything outside of the US. So it's just a question: if they're going to bring everything over to Peacock. I mean, I'm not bringing it from Peacock to Netflix in the United States when the Peacock deal is up. That's the biggest question.
Right. All right, Duke, your thoughts on this?
Well, first and foremost, congratulations to WWE. It's fantastic. That was the right move, and I think that other promotions will benefit from this. The wrestling industry as a whole is in bad shape right now. I actually completely disagree with what you were saying earlier, EJ.
About
most wrestlers are not making money. I'm privy to conversations with wrestlers on the independent wrestling scene who are literally being told, well, you can come work my show for exposure. I'm privy to conversations with promoters who are literally taking food off of their own table just to put on wrestling events because they want to say they're a wrestling promoter. The industry is not in good shape. It's just not. We know that All Elite Wrestling has to be run out of Tony Khan's pocket, his daddy's pocket, because he still can't figure out how to make that company profitable. And he admitted it. He needs a significant increase on his TV rights in the United States in order for the company to be profitable day to day. That's allegedly the number 2 company in pro wrestling. So WWE is its own separate thing, and that's always been Vince McMahon's vision. Make it bigger than wrestling. It's not wrestling, it's sports entertainment. His entire business model is completely counter to the pro wrestling business model. We know that because no other wrestling company has been able to accomplish what they've accomplished. So that tells you everything you need to know. So I think that we have to be careful not to look at WWE's success and automatically assume that that's a good indicator for the industry in terms of how healthy it is. It's not healthy. It's the complete opposite of healthy because we're not a healthy country right now. You know what I mean? Despite what they say with the jobs report, a lot of people are in bad financial shape. They can't afford entertainment like pro wrestling to go live and support it in that manner. So if you are depending on that, you ain't going to get it. You know what I mean? So given that point, though, what WWE just did is incredible. They just completely fooled Netflix into investing in something that will not give them the return on investment. There's no possible way that WWE is going to add subscribers to Netflix. They already have around 247 million subscribers worldwide. WWE's not going to add more subscribers. They may get people to watch Netflix a little bit more because they want to see WWE content. But to Rob's point, you're going to need to get SmackDown, and you're going to need to be able to air everything that happens in the United States in order for that to make sense.
So Raw averages between 1.5, 1.9, 2 million a week, right? You got to figure at least 30% of that number is going to at least maybe consider adding Netflix to their, if they don't have it already.
No, they have it already. They have it already. It's no. Listen, anyone who's watching Raw already is paying for cable TV. It's not like they can't pay for Netflix. They already are.
Right, but Netflix also has lost subscribers in the last year or two because of the rule changes that they've done recently too. Well, so I'm wondering if
47 million people have Netflix.
Is that right now? Is that after? Is that after what we went through last year with all the?
Yes, that's right
Okay.
now. That's according to the last quarter. 247 million.
I can definitely see a slight bump. I do think though this is going to be a gateway for Netflix for other things, live sports on the road.
I agree with that. They're going to be able to advertise other things on WWE programming, which may make up the difference. Right. But this whole notion that less people are going to watch Raw is embarrassing. You got 247 million people, not even people, households.
Well, the problem
that have access to you.
The problem is Netflix.
More people are going to watch Raw. There's
the
no
issue.
Just statistically, and we got the mathematician here. It's going to be there. You know what I mean? It's already a viable product that people watch. They're going to have more people.
Does Netflix release their numbers though?
They shouldn't. They don't have to. And even if they release numbers, there's no proof.
Right.
There's no third party that can verify that. So numbers don't matter. This whole nonsense about the numbers. No, there's other ways that they measure, and there's a cross section of measurements that they utilize. Not to ignore the fact that there are other investments that they do. What if Netflix is getting a piece of the live attendance as well? That's what's happening with WBD and AEW. They're getting a piece of the other side of the action. It's not just people watching on TV. WBD would never make money if that were the case. They are actually investing in the company as a whole. And I guarantee you that's what's happening with this deal with Netflix as well. The fact that WWE gave them international airing rights is crazy to me, because that actually makes the value of this deal less than what we are looking at. That's incredible that they gave that away as part of this package.
You're saying, so what you're saying to me is that WWE basically swindled Netflix here.
Of course they did, but you know, to a certain degree, Netflix might be able to make it back on the back end. You know, now here's the funny part. Netflix in 5 years can decide that they're not going to continue.
Does it opt out?
Yeah, they've opted out.
Well, it's not that. I don't think it's an opt out of the entire deal. I think they start negotiating the next deal in 5 years.
The Peacock deal ends in 26, right?
I think it's either 26 or 27, but I think it's 26. Yeah.
Do you think they'll re-up with Peacock?
I don't think that would make sense unless.
Let me ask a question. Let me rephrase that question. Has it been a positive relationship so far? Peacock and WWE? Seems to have.
Peacock has benefited greatly because The Office was a bust. Peacock spent so much money on bringing in The Office, that TV show, assuming that people were going to flock to Peacock to watch The Office, and they'll stick around and watch other programming. It's actually been the WWE live events that has done that far more than what The Office has done. So from Peacock's standpoint, it's been a success. Now, is it worth the money that Netflix is willing to pay? We'll see. You know what I mean? Because there's going to have to be an increase on those rights going forward.
Yeah.
But for Peacock, they needed it because what they're starting to see is a slight increase in the number of subscribers that they have, which they attribute to the WWE and to other live sports.
All right. Well, I mean, it's weird. Netflix and WWE, you know, we kind of saw the these of this years ago, like with streaming and, you know, obviously, and with Peacock, you know, and now with Netflix. I mean, it's just weird to see it now. It actually come to fruition. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and I don't think there are going to be a lot of people getting Netflix. People who don't have Netflix now, I don't think people are going to start subscribing to Netflix just to see Monday Night Raw.
You'll see a slight bump.
Agreed.
That's it.
Nah, there's no bump. There's no bump to happen. There's no bump unless it's free. There's no bump.
Not just to see Monday Night Raw.
Raw is not that important.
I'll say this much:
not just for one show.
Someone like me who doesn't have Netflix, who canceled Netflix like a year ago, I will consider adding it to my.
What are you going to give up?
Don't know yet. I have to decide.
And you see that?
And are you going to do that just for Monday Night Raw?
Well, if I decide to watch, it depends. Well, it depends on the product too, also, because I don't watch Raw regularly now as is anyway.
See,
so
okay, and that's the danger of going to, even though you don't watch Raw regularly right now, but the risk of just moving your show to somewhere else, not even necessarily to streaming, the risk of moving it somewhere else
Right.
is that you lose some people in the transition who, like, because they're look, any long running show, there are always people who just watch it because it's there. Okay. I mean, and then these CSI, NCIS, and Law and Order stuff and all that on NBC and CBS. There are people who watch those shows because I can turn to NBC on Thursday night and there's good old Law and Order. It's right there.
Mm-hmm.
And if I turn to NBC one Thursday night and there ain't no more Law and Order, I'm not necessarily going to go find where Law and Order went.
You're adding potentially 200 million more eyeballs, bro. What are you talking about? There's far less people that have access to USA Network than that are currently paying for Netflix.
I said NBC. Did I not say NBC? Did I not?
NBC what?
It's Universal.
Did I not say NBC? I did.
They own USA. I'm saying in the case of Raw, WWE is
I was talking about Law and
people.
Order. I was talking about Law and Order. And Netflix has like 77,000 subscribers, not 1,000 million in the US, not 200 million. Okay.
Well, I just said 200 million worldwide.
Yeah, but we're talking about in the US here. Okay.
Okay, but they still got more in the US than who have access to USA Network. So the point still remains. You just added more. You're not taking away. You're adding. It's a.
Okay, but subscribers are don't mean active users either, though. And you're talking about percentage of a percentage.
You got to pay for Netflix, bro. It ain't like it's Peacock where you get it for free as part of your package.
There are people who have streaming platforms who they barely use anymore, and they got them at the time when there was a sale or whatever, and they barely use them. I mean,
I just increased the possibility of people being able to watch my programming. There's more available people than where it's been.
Okay, so look. Oh, I do this.
It's not a loss.
Look up Twitter. Look up people with Twitter accounts versus how many people actually use Twitter every day. Okay, look that up.
Yeah, but those you can't compare a social media thing, bro. You got trolls and people who have multiple accounts and stuff. That's not an accurate representation. No one has multiple Netflix accounts. What are you talking about?
Never mind. Okay, never mind. Just okay. Number of subscribers does not equal
he ain't ready for prime time.
Number of subscribers does not equal number of users. We're talking 77 million in the United States.
Paying for it, bro.
It's a win for WWE.
And there are people.
There's no risk to WWE at this point because the hardcore wrestling fans they're gonna go for it. Whether they'll get it no matter what. They're not gonna lose much on this, honestly.
Well, they're getting paid for it, so it's not.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, they're getting their money whether people migrate over there or not.
Yeah, right.
They're getting their money.
Smartest thing they ever did.
Yeah,
Nick Khan, he's the greatest of all time.
You really get money. You lock your money in for however many years you can get it locked in for, and then if the viewership doesn't pan out the way it was expected, then you deal with that later.
Bro, I guarantee you this is not a viewership thing. I think that there are other things in place.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
that they're looking for. I don't think they brought in WWE to quote unquote add viewers. I just don't think that's true.
It's to get their foot in the door with live.
Yes, right. I think this is the first step to live
Saudi
sports.
Arabia. This is Saudi Arabia.
Because the NBA has a new deal coming very soon too. TV deal coming very soon as well.
Yeah, their rights are up. Yeah.
The same.
But Saudi Arabia pays WWE $50 million per event. And that doesn't even count what they spend on the set and all that other extra stuff. Yeah. Right? Yep. Why do they do that? It's not because WWE is generating over $50 million in revenue back. It's to open the door for other sports. And it's worked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So, you know what I mean?
And simply put, WWE is a gateway to a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know what WWE is? WWE is the online pornography business, right? When we look at the way that e-commerce has evolved in history, it all started with porn. Using your credit cards online and doing all these other things and figuring out the whole streaming and all that stuff. Porn was at the forefront of all that stuff. They tested it with porn. And once it worked, that's when you opened it up to other industry.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, the WWE is very similar and being utilized that way. They're the test.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Well, and to that note, I mean, one thing, WWE and under Vince, they've been like often many times they've been the first ones to really dive into whatever the new distribution system was.
Sure.
With syndication, with pay-per-view, with streaming, with having their own streaming service, and then just realizing that having your own streaming service is not the greatest thing to do to make a profit, and you're better off just licensing your content to somebody and have them host it. Which I mean, because look, I mean, the whole streaming service business is, I think Netflix is like the only streamer that turns a profit regularly. I mean, it's because it's it's a shell game basically. You're hoping you promise people all this content for this really low price, and with the idea that you'll just make up for the low price, you'll make it up in volume as far as subscribers. But none of these services have ever they don't reach the volume. I mean,
right.
Even when they get even the ones that are gaining subscribers, like Disney Plus is still losing money, right? I mean, like they never you're not going to hit the volume to make up for the price, and which is why Amazon
they will. They probably will eventually as they raise prices, and they continue to do that.
We're going to raise prices. Like Amazon is having ads now, and so it's eventually
they have to combine as well, right? They got to buy each other out.
Bundling everything too. Also, ESPN,
and there'll be consolidation, and ultimately
turning the cable.
Yeah, I mean, except for literally like the physical method of it being broadcast. That'll be the only difference. Is that it'll be streamed instead of beamed into your house through a cable.
Right.
But but eventually the structure and all will be the same.
Now today, I just realized, like today, I knew it was this month and I knew it was this year, but today I realized that exactly today we're doing this podcast is the 40th anniversary of the start of Hulkamania.
Yeah, and they had a tribute segment last night for it.
They did?
Yes, they did.
How many boos? A lot of boos?
Well, it was taped. And
okay.
Yeah, I mean, but they had him talking and everything, and some people on my Twitter timeline were not happy about that.
They didn't get over it. Okay, like all this shit just talking about the Netflix on WWE, all this stuff. That doesn't happen without the start of this era. This is what kicked off wrestling as what we see it today. You may not love Hulk Hogan, you may hate him, whatever it may be, but the starting point where wrestling became such a mainstream force in culture started this day 40 years ago, and you can't.
We don't need to exalt him and celebrate him though.
Well, no one's exalting him.
You can acknowledge the history. Of course they're exalting him. They just started their biggest program with him. They just started their most valuable property with him last night. So of course they're exalting him. You're dedicating time on this program.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a Hulkamaniac. I can't help that.
But you can't get over the fact that the man
I'm not a Terry maniac. I'm a Hulkamaniac.
Yeah, but you can't get over the fact that the man is an admitted racist.
Oh, no doubt.
You know what I mean? It's like, come on. What do you mean get over it? There's nothing to get over. He's a racist.
I can separate the two. I can separate the character Hulk Hogan versus Terry Bollea.
Listen, he had a great career. I was a kid that said my prayers and ate my vitamins because of him, but he's a scumbag. And that's it. So I can acknowledge the fact that, yes, he was an important figure in wrestling, but I'm not going to sit here and exalt the guy, celebrate him. What is there to talk about with the guy? He's a scumbag.
Well, I think I make this more about the on-screen legacy of Hulk Hogan, because we know what he is in real life. We know he's a guy that did politics aside and backstage and all this kind of stuff, a massive liar, the whole nine. Hulk Hogan, the character, the legacy of Hulk Hogan. I'm like right now, I'm in the middle of a massive 1987 deep dive. They're watching all the Superstars wrestling for the entire year right now. That, by the way, WWE has dropped the ball on that shit for the record, not putting up all the stuff on there. Like they put up Wrestling Challenge for 86 and the first month of 87, and then they dropped the ball after that. I don't know why it's taking long to put the shit up there. I know why. Anyway, but you watch wrestling has evolved in the 40 plus years since all this. I go back to that kid again. I'm watching Hulk Hogan 1987, 1988. These rivalries against Andre and Savage and Bossman. And again, I know people talk about Austin and rightly so, Austin and Brett and Cena and Roman and all that. But God, every time I go back to 1987, 1988, watching Hogan, it's like I go back to that kid again. It's my what is it? My safe place, I guess I'll call it. My sweet spot of wrestling. That's it right there. Hulkamania.
Great. I'm sure next week we'll be doing a Chris Benoit special too. Like,
stop! There we go. You're an asshole. No, stop. You can't wait. You can't separate the two. Hulk Hogan, the character, versus Terry Bollea, the piece of shit human being.
I can separate the two, but and acknowledge, okay, yes, the guy had a major impact on the industry. But the industry is long past Hulk Hogan. Why are we still digging this guy up? We're long past Hulk Hogan.
Because people like me, I subscribed to the WWE Network in 2014 when I wasn't watching the current product because of Hulk Hogan, because of that era. So, no, you can't say that. People like me still watch the old shit because of guys like him.
But are there enough people like you as opposed to the people who have made Roman Reigns the biggest thing in wrestling history?
No, Roman's the dude. Roman's
the biggest thing in wrestling history. Yeah. With Roman Reigns on top, the WWE has surpassed everything ever.
Of course, but Hogan could crawl, so Roman can walk and become the GOAT.
Well, there are generations, including your kids, who don't. They didn't grow up with Hogan. They grew up watching Cena and Orton, or they grew up watching Roman.
My 10-year-old loves Hogan, though. My 10-year-old loves Hogan.
Okay, because of you.
No, I didn't push it. I'm a savage guy. If you give a 10-year-old Hogan or Roman, they're gonna pick Roman. I don't think they're picking. He hates Roman now. I don't know why. We thought about that all the time. I love Roman. No, I'm a savage guy.
So tell me about the history of Savage. You over here kissing Hogan's ass. What the hell's going on right now? You starting to turn into Rob now. Is Hogan your Hillary Clinton? Hogan's your Hillary Clinton now? You over here?
Oh, you
clutching your pearls? Look what's going
on.
Rob,
any thoughts on Hogan before we go to the next topic? Last topic of the show?
Yeah, we're not having this conversation without Hulkamania. Okay, and Terry Bollea, like I said, he's not a good person, obviously. Yeah. But again, we're not having this conversation about Netflix deals and WrestleMania 40 and all this other stuff if Hulkamania is not a thing. So, just like, look, they still talk about George Washington and Thomas Jefferson in their history class, right? And those guys weren't,
slave owners.
You're right. But there's no United States of America without those guys. But look, nobody's forcing you to watch any Hulk Hogan stuff on Peacock. Nobody forced you to watch when they did the little thing last night. You could have changed the channel. Nobody forced you to do it.
Yeah, Duke.
And nobody will frown on you for doing it either. Nobody will frown on you if you choose to not buy any of the Hulk Hogan merchandise they put on sale today. If you don't want to buy any of it, nobody's going to frown on you for that.
And by the way, I hope my son got a Hogan doll this Christmas. So, yeah, get over it.
Indoctrination.
Hulk rules, baby.
Jesus.
Look, man.
Indoctrination.
I'm sorry. Look, people still listen to Miles Davis and Jerry Lee Lewis and people, guys who were going around putting their hands on women, right? People still listen to their music, right? It's a personal choice how you want to, watch or not watch what he did.
I'm gonna send Duke a Hogan doll.
It's a personal choice. I don't begrudge anybody who does. I don't begrudge anybody who doesn't.
Must I call him Woke Duke?
Woke Duke.
Comrade Bennett. Comrade.
Which you got to pick one. You can't have both.
I'll call you Comrade Bennett. Okay.
See, folks, this is proof that I truly am an undeclared. I'm a comrade. I'm woke. Look at that. I'm both. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh Lord, you're a mess, Duke. Anyway, it is time. This week it is the Royal Rumble. This Saturday from Tampa, Florida, which is I was going to go, but I'm not going anymore because tickets are so fucking expensive. So screw it. I'll enjoy it on my couch. We got right now currently 4 matches announced for this thing. 2 of them, of course, are the Rumble itself. Quick predictions here. First off, Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens for the U.S. Championship. Who wins?
Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Logan Paul?
Yep.
Interesting. All right. We got the world title match. Should I say undisputed WWE Universal Championship match between Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and LA Knight. Yeah. Fatal 4-way. There's no chance Roman loses this match, right? Come on.
Of course not. Just the question is, who's going to take the pin?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like
LA Knight's taking that pin.
LA or AJ.
He's
LA
taking
or
that
AJ.
pin.
I think LA Knight's in that match to take the pin, I think.
Yeah.
By the way, Randy Orton's fucking swollen as hell now. You see him? Holy shit.
Yeah, but he could barely walk. I understand he has the back issue, but even AJ Styles, he looks ridiculous. with all that extra weight he put on. It's not healthy, man.
I don't like it.
It's not healthy. It's not healthy.
All right, we got the women's Royal Rumble match. 30 women. So far declared are only 4.
Yeah.
Bayley, Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, and Bianca Belair. Damn, that's it.
Yep.
A lot of special surprises, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's a tough one. With Charlotte going out, that changes a lot.
Yeah.
I can envision Becky winning. I can envision Bianca winning.
Yeah.
Which one makes the most sense? I think because of the new reality show, the plan was probably Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
But Becky's deal is coming up. So I'm gonna go with Becky winning the Royal Rumble and then putting over the champion at WrestleMania.
I feel like Bianca's too obvious, right?
Well, actually, I think this year I think it's either Becky or Bayley. I think.
Bayley, really?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm okay with it. I love Bayley, but
I mean, because I think, well, look, I think with Charlotte being out, I think they were heading towards Charlotte and Bianca at WrestleMania in some capacity. So Charlotte being out, that basically just kind of puts Bianca in limbo. And I mean, the story is with Bayley's gonna at some point get kicked out of the group here, and and then of course she should you get your revenge by winning the women's championship. And so so I think it's very possible that she wins this here, and because Becky can still win the Elimination Chamber and challenge Rhea.
Sure.
Whereas if you look at doing a women's chamber for the SmackDown roster is they don't have because half the women's roster is in Damage Control, and I mean there aren't enough. I mean, there are a lot of things that have to get kind of moved around or whatever, and then if you have Bayley win the Elimination Chamber, then that means if Bianca's in there, somebody's going to beat her, and I don't. But I don't know. Look, I don't know what Bianca's path is now. I mean, maybe it ends up being a triple threat with Bayley, Bianca, and Io at WrestleMania. But her path is kind of murky right now because the woman she more than likely was going to have a match with ain't there.
You know what? And it should be murky. Why should she be in the main event every year?
Yeah.
Why should she be in the biggest match every year? Nobody else has that other than like a Roman Reigns. And I don't think Bianca Belair is on that level. She's certainly not drawing like that. Now, we can blame the company for not giving her a real character. We can blame the company for not giving her or setting her up the way that they have Rhea Ripley, where the fans buy into her to that degree. But the fact of the matter is she doesn't need to be at the top of the top every year. So I'm okay with it. She can have a secondary match for a change.
Let her breathe. Let her breathe a little bit. Yeah. You want people to get sick of her at some point. You know what I mean?
She has other opportunities. It's okay.
She's doing TV now, and it's been 2 years since Becky had the title.
Well, I think Becky's if she ain't beating Rhea. I mean,
no, Becky's going to put her over because Becky's still negotiating. She doesn't have a new deal yet. Same thing with Seth Rollins, although he's going to get injury time now. But he doesn't have a new deal yet.
When's that deal expired? Like end of the year?
Right after WrestleMania.
Yeah, sometime after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to have her put Rhea over anyway because
any surprises you see in this match? Any surprises like surprise appearances by any?
Oh, that's always going to happen.
The usual Molly Holly show up and all those guys.
Well, I think Trinity is pretty much a lock. I think to show up
for one off, right?
No, I think she's done an Impact, so I think she's going to be back.
She's going to be back.
Okay, good. And hopefully use her properly this time. Shit.
Yeah,
please. She's got to actually step her game up in the ring. She still hasn't. Listen, she's left a lot to be desired for years at this point.
Really?
Whoa!
Right. I think a lot of those women have come and passed her by.
What?
Her style of wrestling does not cut the mustard, quite frankly. She has not been able to make anyone else look good in the ring for years, and quite frankly, she's looked a lot. She can't keep up most of the damn time.
You're mean.
I'm going to call it what it is. So I think that.
Did you watch?
Listen, I like her.
Impact.
I did, and I wasn't impressed because Impact doesn't necessarily have, other than Tasha Steelz, I'm not impressed with their whole roster. I think they're the complete drizzling shits. Wow. And I don't swear that often, so I meant that.
That's true.
So I think Trinity coming in, utilize her for other things, but coming in as a wrestler, unless she's going to be there to put the younger talent over, I don't really get it because, quite frankly, she just ain't it anymore, man. She's just not. You look at a Bianca Belair and you look at a Trinity and you tell me who you're putting the Rock.
Well, Bianca's one of
Rhea
one.
Ripley.
Bianca's
Asuka.
1-1 though. There's not one.
Rhea Ripley, Asuka. I'm naming more of 1-on-1s. You know what I mean? You
but
start
no one's
going down the list.
But no one's on Bianca's level. I don't think I ever see a single female wrestler on Bianca's level as an athlete in that ring.
Rhea Ripley's killing it. Well, hold on a second. Tiffany
as
Stratton
an athlete,
is coming.
not as a character.
Tiffany Stratton is coming. Tiffany Stratton is coming, and she's going to be bigger than Bianca. That's a fact.
We'll see.
She's already better than Bianca at this stage in her career, and she never wrestled like
I don't
Bianca.
think she come on my show insulting Bianca like this, bro. You need to relax.
Listen, I like Bianca, but I'm going to tell the truth now. I'm not going to lie about it.
All right.
Tiffany Stratton is by far a much more complete wrestler.
I am not
already
familiar
at
with
this
her
stage.
work, to be honest with you. I know the name. I'm not familiar with her work. So
Rob's gonna back me up on this.
At this point, because how long has Tiffany been? She started in what, 2000?
A little over a year.
Where's she in
NXT? She already won the title her first year.
Right.
Well,
I want NXT for a couple of years, dude. So
because I'm thinking about it because Bianca was Bianca spent like 3 years in NXT. Tiffany's been there like 2 years.
Not even 2 years. I don't even think it's been 2 years.
Well, I think she started at the end of 2021, and then I think it might have been 2022. I have to go back.
22, I think it was, but
it was sometime in 2000. Well, yeah. But she hasn't been in NXT. I don't think she's been in NXT as long as Bianca was. And so to say that she's further along at the same point at NXT, I think that's fair. But I think, look, man, if you go watch the Women's Rumble from last year, the crowd was dead for most of the match. So they need people who are known and who can come out there and fire up the crowd.
Rhea won last year, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But so they look, Trinity I think she'll definitely be in there, but they need to look. I know some people don't like them calling back Trish, Mickie James, et cetera, but you need some of those women.
Gets the crowd excited, actually. See those faces.
I mean,
absolutely. If anything.
Which is an indictment on the current roster. These women are not stars.
Oh, supposed these people also too. These fans aren't. They're fickle as fuck.
No. I
don't think.
No. Don't do that.
I don't think you can say this is fickle fans because the men's Rumble last year, the crowd was up for the whole match, but they had more people in that match who the crowd.
I'm saying more fans are more invested in their phone. They'll pay this money to go to see the event, but on their phones the entire time.
You could put Trish Stratus, Mickie James, Melina. You could put them in the WWE 2 years ago, starting off, breaking in, and they're going to be just as big a star as they were back in the Attitude Era. Why? Because that's what they are. Now, you compare them to the current crop of women, there's no comparison. These are not stars. NXT has some women who could be stars, but these women on the roster right now, they're not stars, man. They're not stars.
I mean,
not even Becky Lynch is a star. She fizzled out in Hollywood already because she's not a star. You know what? No one's calling her to be on their TV show anymore. She's not a star.
Interesting. All right. Men's Rumble. We have 8 of 30 already declared as of today. Those 8 are Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Gunther, Kofi Kingston, and Damian Priest. All right, fellas, who wins it? Is any of these 8 guys win it, or is it someone else in the 8?
Cody Rhodes wins it. Yeah. Cody Rhodes wins it. It's simple. We want it. Do it. Let's see what happens with Punk. Cody Rhodes has to win that. He has to.
Oh, okay. I disagree. Well, I think Seth being injured and them having to kind of wait and see with him, I think changes things. I had Punk winning because
you think Punk's going to challenge Roman?
No, Punk. No, because Rock is going to challenge Roman. Punk was going to challenge Seth Rollins.
Seth will be back in time for that, though.
Well, now we don't know.
They said 3 or 4 months.
Well, but he also said, look, it sounds like he's not going to get the surgery. It sounds like.
Do you think it's kayfabe? I know he's hurt, but do you think it's kayfabe 3-4 months?
I think he's hurt more than they're letting on, but
he's been hurt for a while.
I think Punk is going to be champion before WrestleMania, and it's going to be him and Cody.
I think. Well, I think they're waiting and seeing and hoping with Seth right now because I don't think it's kayfabe. And look, this is I think you can fault Hunter for this. That he had a big match with Drew McIntyre on January 1st. There was no need for him to have another title match 2 weeks later against Jinder Mahal. There was really no need for that. And he got injured. And and no, this is not kayfabe. I don't think they're playing it up either. I think, but he is walking. So I think they're going to wait and hope for the best. I think he's going to try rest and rehab and hope for the best and try to make it there. And then as they get closer to the event, to WrestleMania, then they'll know. They'll probably have to make a final decision going into Elimination Chamber, because then they'll need to do something there to kind of reorganize things. But
and not to cut you off, but I want to add something to what you're saying though, Rob. The contract negotiation. Seth Rollins would be a fool to wrestle that match if his knee is not stable enough to do it. So I believe he's going to use that as a bargaining chip. You're going to have to give me a deal and give me the money that I want. And then I'll go into WrestleMania regardless of what shape my knee is in and put over who you want me to put over.
Yeah, because I think he's going to have to, even if he makes it back for WrestleMania, he's going to have to take time off after that.
100%.
Well, the roster's good. I think the roster's good enough now to sustain while he's gone until he gets back.
No, but this is about him getting his new deal. This ain't about that.
Of course,
this ain't about that.
Yeah.
The company is fine with or without him. But this is about him having a bargaining chip now with this knee.
Right.
Yeah, and so I think if he does make it back for WrestleMania, he's going to put over whoever he's going against. So originally I had Punk winning and challenging him, and now don't know, because you can still do it. I mean, it's but I have a wacky prediction.
What? Sure.
Well, because these people were hoping that the Rock and Roman would. Some of these people were hoping the Rock and Roman would wrestle at Elimination Chamber, which is just insane.
It's stupid.
And just completely insane. They're not going to
4 a.m. in the morning on the USA in Perth, Australia. Come on, stop.
Yeah. I mean, because they thought Rock would go there for an appearance fee that the government was going to give him. That man just got named to the board of TKO. You think he was going to go work in Australia for an appearance fee? Come on, people. So, I think they may stick with Punk winning and then hope for the best with Rollins. But if not, then this is a wacky, wild, crazy prediction. But Dwayne comes in at 28 or 29 and wins. Don't rule it out.
And then what?
Well, he challenges Roman. And
then Roman beats him.
Yeah.
And then Roman beats Hogan's record, which makes Duke very happy, of course.
No, that's what I'm not as set in stone about that, just because of when it would happen.
About what? About Dwayne coming, or
about him being Hogan's?
Do you think that's a priority for the company?
I don't know. See, my honest answer is I don't know, because if you look at the calendar, the problem is the calendar.
September.
It happens in September. All right, so if he's gonna do it there, because look, you're not gonna have him lose. When Roman loses, the lowest card it's gonna be on is SummerSlam. So basically, every year, if he gets past Mania, he's gonna make it at least to SummerSlam, and if he gets past SummerSlam, he's gonna make it to the Mania the next year.
Yeah.
Okay. So if he goes past SummerSlam this year and he breaks into September, you got a whole nother 6-7 months to try and get around.
But somebody has to get hot enough to replace him, though.
That's the problem.
There's enough guys on the roster to make that happen, though.
No, but you got to replace Roman,
or at least you got to, at the very least, you got to be what he is. Because here's for context.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's the only current member of the roster who gets invited to the Tonight Show. And Hunter said this because they've been trying for years and years and years for them to get somebody current, and they always got the same answers. Like, no, we'll take Cena, we'll take you.
We want a star.
Basically, guys that who are already on the way out.
Well, a star. But they say we'll take Cena, we'll take you, Hunter, we'll take the Undertaker, but
somebody who can draw an audience.
But for years they couldn't get, because they tried with Roman before everything blew up with him. They tried with guys like Braun Strowman. They just couldn't get any taker. They couldn't get it. So Roman is and by the way, and now Roman, this is important. He gets to sit down on the couch with Jimmy Fallon and talk to him. And he the last time he even, was kind of hobnobbing with some of the other celebrity guests on the show, right? That's what we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they've had Seth Rollins and some other people participate in some of those wacky skits, like, oh, here are some WWE superstars to, throw balloons at each other, right? I mean, they'll have people on to do that, and they'll be in a group, right? But as far as somebody who gets on, and the Tonight Show is still, even in today's world, Tonight Show is the gold standard of nighttime talk shows. He is the only current person who gets invited on there from the world of professional wrestling. Yeah. So
that's how you know the star power is the star power.
And
that's the benchmark.
If somebody's going to beat him, and if he's going to take some time off afterwards, which I mean, a lot of people seem to think he'll take some time off for a while, like some legit time off where he just doesn't do anything, for a while maybe, and then come back a few months later. You got to have somebody who can get into that space and can get into other spaces like it.
Yeah.
And right now, as big as Cody is still a
fringe.
Cody is a wrestling megastar.
Right.
Okay. And so
I feel like the only person that probably could have that kind of appeal is not even a male, it's a female. It's Bianca.
Ooh.
Bianca could have one. Bianca, absolutely. She's beautiful. She's beautiful from one. She's attractive from one. This TV show could help. This TV show's coming on February on Hulu could help, Duke.
I mean, Total Divas. I mean, is it going to be any different?
There's something to black women.
Well, the Bella twins are still eating off of Total Divas.
Yeah,
they're still eating off of that.
But of course. But Bianca, black, beautiful, married, attractive husband, TV show.
Yeah, but we're not there yet. She can't replace Roman right now.
We're getting there, though. I'm saying.
No,
But to Rob's point though, there's nobody on the male roster right now currently I can see stepping in there with that kind of star power.
Which is why you don't take the belt off of them.
Exactly. And the marks don't understand that.
And we're talking about not just we're talking about all facets of drawing. So I just mentioned the Tonight Show thing, but drawing it's ticket sales, it's merchandise, it's TV ratings, it's social media, it's YouTube traffic, right? And so we're talking about people who, like, you have to be able to hit sky high in all of those areas, not just a few of them.
Yep.
And nobody else there is sky high in all of those things.
Then Roman.
Okay, I'm talking about all of them, not just.
Yeah, but Roman has been on top for how many years straight now? That's part of the reason why.
Do we count pre-COVID? No, right? No problem there. Right?
Well, pre-COVID, he was still the highest merchandise seller on the roster.
They were building him then.
Well, they're pushing him there down all throats, and then once he turned heel, like,
people still got to buy the stuff.
Yeah. Which is why Vince did it. The numbers.
So it takes, but look how many years it took to get him to the point where he's what he is today.
They were trying to make him Cena 2.0.
They did it. He's bigger than Cena. They did it.
There's one to argue that. Yes.
Cena didn't draw this money. True. Cena did not draw the company was a $3 billion company that sold for $9 billion. Well, no one's touching Roman Reigns. No one's touching.
But could also be the environment of where the economy is too. Also, I mean,
well, there are other factors. Yeah,
because Austin, by virtue of popularity, Austin, I would argue, is Height of Powers, the most popular wrestler in the history of the company. Height of Powers. You get what I'm saying?
Well, so they had their best attendance was actually during the Attitude Era.
Yeah,
that was their best attendance, like live attendance.
Yeah, but you gotta look at it from across the board though. There were things happening today that weren't available in the Attitude Era.
No, to your point. So, but Roman's working at an advantage though.
And well, everything's within context.
In a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying?
Well, context matters, right? It's so. I mean, you got to factor in inflation. The fact that just a ticket to a show costs more money now.
Yes.
So which means, even if you get the same crowd as you did in the Attitude Era, the tickets cost
still going to make more money. Yeah, good point.
So you have to account for that. And during the Attitude Era, they did far more house shows. So when you're
in comparison, right, to today.
So now, one big show will skew your average attendance numbers up now. Like doing one 50,000 seat show now will skew your average attendance numbers up much more than it would have during the Attitude Era, because they just run so many more shows.
I will say though, to your point though, I am comfortable with putting Roman on a Mount Rushmore now. Like I'm looking at, to me, when I do a Mount Rushmore WWE history, it's guys who impacted the company from an economical point of view, and that's Hogan, that's Austin, and that's not Roman. And if you want to say Cena, go right ahead. But those are three guys off the rip. I throw off right there: Hogan, Austin, and Roman.
Because now if we're just going to talk about the sports entertainment era and not go back to Bruno and all of that.
No, we're talking sports entertainment. We're talking about Vince.
Then that's I'd say Hogan.
You have to say Austin. You have to say Austin. And I will argue what Austin did was actually more impressive, because Austin did it where the company was in the shits.
Yeah, he turned it around. Whereas
Rock
the company was in the shits when Hogan had his run too.
No, it wasn't. I mean, when he started,
but there was nowhere to go but up though for them. There was actual competition
because they were in the shits.
I mean, there was actual competition in 1999.
The NWA was pretty big competition before Hulk Hogan went on his run.
But Hogan changed the entire way we look at wrestling as a whole.
Yeah.
Period.
So I'd say Hogan, Austin, Roman now, because Roman, this bloodline story completely turned around.
Changed everything.
It turned around the direction of the company, and it did. And that it 100%, and more than anything else, because I mean, I can just from me looking into stuff, I can tell you that run to WrestleMania 38 was maybe the most pivotal 3 months of the last few years, because
that's going to not the Brock match, right? That
yes,
was Brock match, right?
But that's where all of the gains got solidified and became not permanent, but locked in. And then that's where everything got locked in as far as business turning around and starting to go up.
I swear the last 3-4 WrestleManias is like a blur because of COVID.
Yeah, but because up until that point, things were still like, until the bloodline thing really started going.
Yeah,
things have been trending downward for years,
right.
And so that turned around the company.
Yeah. Yes.
So you got to give that to Roman.
Yeah.
And then Hogan, Austin.
Do you go Cena at the fourth guy? Because Cena came in fresh after that era. I mean,
well, when the first couple of years when he was on top, there was a turnaround, because things had started to dip after the Attitude Era ended.
Yeah,
those first few years of ruthless aggression, things had started to dip. And so the first couple of years of his run, things did turn around. So I mean, it's either him or Rock, because another thing about Rock is that, of course, Rock blew up after Austin turned everything around.
Yeah, Rock. So, I don't give Rock that credit, because Austin did the building blocks. Rock took it from Austin, and I always said that it might be controversial to a lot of people though. I always figure Rock was number 2 behind Austin. Number 2.
Sure.
It's like Hogan Savage. Sure. Hogan Savage. Sure. Austin Rock.
I think it was
now it's Roman Seth.
Well, on the male side, Seth's not in the conversation.
No, I'm saying it's about out of power.
The Rock was a much bigger star than Seth Rollins.
No. I'm not comparing who's bigger. I'm just saying that. But is it you know how you have a defined number 1 in the era?
I don't think Roman has a number 2. You'd have to go Brock Lesnar.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
you'd have to go Roman Brock,
because
at least Brock drew money.
I would say Seth though, because Seth has been there consistently.
He ain't drawing no money.
He's literally
ain't nobody lining up for Seth Rollins.
I mean, it's literally Hogan Savage in the late 80s. Really, if you think about it.
Yeah, but Savage drew money. Seth Rollins ain't drawing no money.
You don't think so? I think Seth drawing some money, right? Some money.
Seth Rollins ain't drawing no damn money.
Well, all right. If now again, if we're talking about at the very top level, okay, of things, I mean, Cody came back and immediately shot to the top of selling merchandise, and there were noticeable increases in ticket sales when Cody started working shows after he came back.
Yeah.
So that's and that was not the case with Rollins, because there are only a handful of people who they can announce for a show and their name will sell tickets. Okay, that's Roman, Brock, Cena, Cody, And of course, I mean, well, The Rock is a whole different thing. But of people who were there, regularly, it's Roman, Brock, Cena, Cody. Like those are the only people who there have been some verified reporting that simply announcing them for the show up the ticket sales, and Punk now also since he came back. So that's 5 people. Okay. Now there are other folks who contribute and on a kind of a more kind of residual level or who help with TV ratings and who help with video traffic and whatnot. And there are other people who sell merchandise. But as far as selling tickets, that's it. And now there are a lot of people who help again on a more residual level because they're so good at what they do that having them on the show makes the show better.
Right.
And because of that, more people will watch the show, or more people will watch the whole show instead of just 15 minutes of it. And I think that's where people like Rollins fit in.
Right. All right, fellas. This is a great 2-hour podcast. I told you it'd be a long one today. I told y'all it'd be a long one today. And I'm happy we got us in. We got an hour of politics, we got an hour of wrestling. Woke Duke getting mad about Hulkamania. He'll get over it, of course. Fellas, we'll do this again very soon. Plug what you want to plug. You want to go first, Duke? So he's got to run.
Duke Loves Wrestling Podcast. Catch me on all of the podcast apps. You know the drill. Tell Us the Truth. Tell Us the Truth has been blowing up, man. It's crazy. I'm in the top 10% of all listened to podcasts for both shows. That's in the world, folks.
Mom must be proud, man. Mom must be proud.
Yeah, Mom must be proud. You got to stop looking like me though, so she don't have to mix us up, But anyway, I have these guys on as well from time to time. When
Wait,
Rob,
you have him on. You have me on. You have me on there in 2 years.
Uh-oh.
2.5 years.
That's because I'm always on your show. I'm giving you the rub. You don't offer to give me the rub. That's what's happening. You don't offer to give me the rub here, pal.
To be fair, though, I haven't watched a lot of, this is another time of year I start really helping get back to wrestling again. I go through dips and stuff with my wrestling content. Like, during football season is a little bit rough because it's a lot of content out right now.
Sure.
But now football's coming to an end. Is now I can, make room for it now. And it's maybe season too.
So we'll talk. Have your people call my people. We'll talk.
All right.
We'll talk.
Hey, people.
But that's the skinny there.
All right, Rob, go ahead and plug.
First of all, Das Vidania, Comrade Bennett.
Jesus.
Woke Duke.
At least I'm both.
Yeah.
All right. Look, you can catch me every week on the Mindless Wrestling Podcast with DJ and Jason. We're part of the Chair Shot Radio Network. And you can usually catch me every couple of weeks on my own show, the Rob the Genius Podcast.
Yes, sir.
And actually, Ernest was on the most recent episode.
Yes, I did. I was on there last week. Check it out, Duke. All politics. All politics.
Yeah.
And tomorrow you'll be on with DJ. We're gonna do a watch along on the 1989 Royal Rumble.
I'm glad you reminded me.
Rob was very shocked to hear that.
Yeah,
I forget things from time to time.
No, he's busy as shit. He's on my other wrestling podcast a lot. So
Gotcha.
DJ. So we gotta do watch along one of these days. You and I, us three, to watch along one of these days.
Look, everybody, despite the everything you might have heard here, me and Duke really do love each other. Okay, we're brothers.
Of course, that's the only reason why we can go at each other like this.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. That's right. Duke, you're a pain in the ass, though. I swear to God.
I am what I am. That's
right.
I would say. Yeah,
it's right. That's right. All right, guys. Good job as always, bro.
Yeah.